And I do podcast consulting on the side. Like for
Why do you think we have you on here?
Right.
Free consulting.
I was just going to say, we will waive the fee for today. No, just
Thank
kidding.
you.
Just kidding.
Wow.
You're a friend. We're all friends.
Daily Logic Check.
Welcome to the Housewife edition of Daily Logic Check, where we throw logic right out the window. I'm Elizabeth Vargas, your host, with my co-host, Andrew Vargas. Today is an extremely special day. We have David Yontef, the king of podcasts from Behind the Velvet Rope. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me in your home, guys. I mean, this is fancy, you know. We come down from LA, we have a view of the water.
I know.
It's a really nice studio, isn't it?
Yeah.
So you're our first podcast where I met you during COVID when I was on The Housewives.
You
So
definitely
we didn't
met
meet
me.
in person. It was Zoom, right?
It was Zoom. We never met in person. We're meeting in person today. I lose so much track of time. We definitely met right after your season of Housewives, which I can't, it all blends together. I can't remember. Do you remember what season you were on?
And do you know how to spell your last name? Just kidding.
I know how to spell my last name. I know where I am.
Andrew, what season?
I thought,
I think
14?
Because we're in 18 now, 17,
I was
16.
on-
You were on 14.
Yeah,
I just
14
backed
sounds
into
right.
it.
No! On
Yes,
my
you
Instagram
are.
it says RHOC COVID season 15 survivor.
Oh, yeah, that's what I said, 15.
15, yeah.
Well, I have a leading Housewives podcast, so I really should know
Yeah, I know.
more
Well,
than you.
I obviously wasn't very memorable because Auntie Cohen couldn't even remember my name during Watch What Happens Live.
I remember your name. It was you. You were 15. So then Dr. Jen was 16.
She was 16, yeah.
And then
And then they had the curly hair girl was with Jen.
curly hair.
The Christmas name.
Yes.
Noel.
Yes. I mean,
Yeah.
believe it or not, I've never spoken to her. She's like on
Okay.
but I'm okay
Yeah.
without speaking
But
to
I
her.
met you during COVID and I didn't get to know you. I didn't know how to do podcasts. I didn't know how to do Zoom really with podcasts. And I was in my office and I just remember, you know, we were able to do Zoom. So we were lucky enough where I could meet. I wasn't able to do any, my season of Housewives, I wasn't able to do any press, red carpets, nothing. Like I didn't get to meet you guys. I didn't get to barely meet Andy. I didn't get to do anything. But when I did meet you via Zoom, you were really professional and I really loved your vibe.
Thank you.
I was nervous. You made me feel comfortable, and you were just a really good interviewer. And I just, you know, I kind of like walked away from the interview going, gosh, you know, I didn't get that much press, but you made an impression on me because the continuity of how you interviewed me was there, and it was very refreshing that you knew what you were doing.
Thank you. Thank you. I mean, yes, but.
But I Googled you, and I found out about you, and you're a lawyer.
I am a lawyer.
Wait. So
Practicing lawyer or
Yeah.
just used to be?
Used to be. I mean,
Okay.
I am truly one of these people who this is like I've reinvented myself. This is my third incarnation in the business world.
Isn't that a
as
lot of
podcast.
schooling that you're not using anymore?
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something about the Jewish parents, okay? When you go through so much school and then you say you want to quit being a lawyer and all this other stuff, you know, the parents, yes, they have a moment. But then I went from that and then I went into recruiting and I had my own like staffing agency. So then like when you quit and then like you're making money again, they're just like, oh, that was the best decision that you ever made. And it's like, that's what I try to tell you. So with Jewish parents, it's just like, are you making money or not?
Like, did
Truly.
you want to go into staffing, or was it just?
Well, I did practice law. I practiced corporate tax law, if you
Right.
can
So
believe that. Don't I look like a corporate tax attorney?
Why'd you
No.
quit? No, you don't. But why'd you quit then?
Oh my God. It was the most boring. Like, do I love numbers? I do love numbers, and it just was so boring. It was so
When I found out
boring.
you were a CPA, I'm like, oh, good, I
And then
need
you're
one on my.
CPA as well?
I am a CPA as well.
So wait, certified?
Yes, although I don't keep certified.
You're not
I don't
up
keep
to date.
any of that up.
You're
And
not up
that's-
to date, but you at one point was certified.
Yeah, I passed
Wow.
the CPA exam. I passed the bar. This is all real.
He's
There's
a
no
secret
scam.
nerd.
I say that on my podcast. I am literally a secret smart person because I just talk about like reality TV and like I don't want to talk about the real world and people. Then
Yeah.
I think you could tell I'm smart like when I'm interviewing someone.
Absolutely.
And let me tell you, being a lawyer it does help me do my job because I do all the prep. I mean, I have a team, but like the prep,
Yeah.
like if you're coming on my show,
Yeah.
I have to do the questions and I have to go through it myself. So being a lawyer does help. Like if I want to
everything
back
together.
you into a corner and get a certain answer in a very nice way, I know how to do that with like a celebrity and like this is the clickbait headline that we're going for.
Get
Like,
the
I know.
information you want out of them in a way that you want.
Yeah.
By controlling the
But also,
And killing them with kindness.
yes, I'm good at
know?
that.
Yes.
when you sent me your bio, it was like, it was so lawyerish. I'm like, I read it to everybody that we know. It's like, this guy's coming, he's great, blah, blah. The way that you wrote your bio was very lawyer. Like, in addition to.
Right, like we choose our words carefully,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you know, like being a lawyer helps the way you think.
Yeah.
So I'm happy.
It also protects you because, slander is a big deal. And if you know any type of law, you can really, I think that most lawyers can also pull from their circle of lawyer friends if there's any issue, right? I mean, you guys all kind of,
Totally.
and so I'm sure you've had some slander problems or no? Yes.
No, and that's the thing. The fans, as you know, and we can
Right.
get into all that. These housewife fans, they're very
Cult.
cult.
Culter of Bravo.
Culture. So like if you're saying something bad
Loyal.
about one housewife that they like, they're like, oh my God, and she's gonna sue you. I'm like, first of all, nobody is suing me. Just back the fuck off.
Yeah.
Excuse my language. I assume we could swear here.
Yeah,
too.
Yes, oh,
absolutely.
Okay, so I'm like, back up. And look, it's really hard to sue someone for slander or defamation.
If it's not true.
Right, and especially if they're in the public eye. Like saying,
Or if
like
it's true.
your business, you killed people in your business. Yeah, that's slander. Just saying
How
like
did you know-
she's a
did you
fucking
hear that?
asshole. No, I didn't hear that about you. But just saying like someone's a fucking asshole and had an affair and all this, like
Yeah.
you can't. That's not slander.
Right.
So you do know. I guess you're a little cocky as a lawyer of like you're not suing me, so get out of my face.
Yeah.
They
Shut the
can't
fuck
threaten
up,
you because
and,
you know what they could
Go
actually.
crawl in the little hole you just came from because I don't want to talk to you anymore.
Yeah,
You
like
just,
go bother someone else.
Yeah.
I bet you get that
yeah.
every once in a while where the people try to, use that against you, and you're like,
Well, Andy Cohen just had that problem with the whole cocaine thing. They were like, oh yeah, Andy Cohen's snorting cocaine with all the staff and da-da-da. And you're like, were you there? Did you physically, did the cocaine go up your nose? I don't, unless you're really.
And it's still going on. Like it's a whole.
Is he still involved in that?
It's a whole thing, yeah. Like Leah McSweeney.
poor guy.
It's just there's a lot of drama going on.
Yeah. Well, but I've had my fair share of people trying to sue me for something. Tom, Dick, and Harry, somebody's dick is hairy. I don't even know what the fuck they're suing me for, but, I've learned that it is, you have to be careful, but I never got sued. And let me tell you why I never got sued for slander. You can't get sued when it's the truth.
Totally.
If you're not lying and you're telling 100% the truth and you can back up with evidence or substantial proof, you can't get sued. So, I learned about slander a long time ago. And in your industry, being a lawyer, being numbers guy, you're smart. You know how to, I'm sure you've monetized your platform, right?
The platform is monetized. And it's shocking to me. Look, yes, I have. And when I started this, so I practiced law, then I left that. I had like a staffing agency. I did want to go into recruiting and HR. That was like my
so you
thing.
did want to do it.
I did. So like I had a company like staffing, you need some temps for the day, whatever. And then I ran that for a while and then I sold it. So like
What year was this?
What year was this that I ran this company?
Yeah.
Why are you trying to figure
I'm
out?
trying to date him.
It's always
2021,
like,
okay?
It's right. Well, see, that's the thing. It's always like when you start to talk and people are like, how long did you do this? You're like, oh, I better shut up because people are like, you look, and I do look somewhat younger than my age, which is not me just flattering myself, but I did it for like,
A few years.
I did it for
A
a
few
few
years.
years.
Okay.
Did you do it
Are
here
you-
or was it back?
No, it was all in. So I'm a New Yorker. Like I grew up between like Connecticut and New York.
Yeah.
And then for this, now I live in LA as well.
Do you have a hush puppy at home you don't want to tell your age from, too? Or what? What's going on over here? Why can't-
It's weird. I'll answer any question. People are like, how old are you? You say you can't find anything about me when you Google me, which is what you said before you went on air. but
your last name. I was trying to find the origin. It said you were German. The origin was Germany.
It's
And
like German Jewish, yeah.
Okay.
See?
We'll change the subject, but anyway.
But
so you did that for a while.
I'm not
and
in my
then-
20s. And so I sold that business. And so then then I wasn't working. And then, so when I started my podcast, so I kind of fell into
Yeah, why how'd you
hanging
get
out.
into podcast?
I know, isn't that
Like
so?
what? How'd your
know.
parents, an housewife podcast?
Well, okay, so here's the thing. So I did, look, I loved pop culture growing up, and then
Okay.
that led to like
So
reality
you followed
TV.
Bravo and all that stuff.
I did.
Okay.
I followed. Look, I liked it all better before it became work. So we'll get into all of that.
Right.
When it was just fun and entertaining, you
Yeah.
enjoyed it. Now that it's work, it's different.
People think I know everything like this. Like people are like, I'm like,
Like this.
I don't know.
What season are you
I'm
on?
like, I don't know what season. My listeners will know
Yeah.
everything, and I'm like, there's too much information. Like
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
I know everything about you if you're going to come on my show and interview you. Like you said, I gave
Yeah.
a good interview.
Yes.
But then it kind of just goes out because there's someone else coming in, and I remember certain things.
Make some more room for something else.
Yeah, it
in your
makes more
brain.
room for certain. So, I mean, when I sold my company, my staffing agency, which I did for a while,
Okay.
and then it was time to get out, I really wasn't doing anything with my life. Just,
Good
you sell
for
a
you.
company,
Taking a break.
you take
Like,
a
that
break.
sounds amazing.
It's that
at that.
wasn't right.
I'm good at
So right, and then so I was hanging out with like reality star. Like if you're live in New York, you have a lot of shows.
Oh, so the New York Housewives.
New York, and we have Jersey Shore.
Jersey
and
Shore.
Jersey
Wait,
Housewives.
you know the Jersey
and-
Shore people?
No. I like wish I knew the Jersey Shore people. I've had some of them on my podcast.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying like the scope of like shows that are
Yeah.
so it just was like I had all this knowledge and then I was like, I should do something with this. And then it was right before COVID that it was like, maybe this is a podcast. When my podcast
This is
started,
pretty recent.
5 years. I'm in my 5th year.
You're in the top 50 of Apple Podcasts. You've won like a ton of awards.
Most podcasts don't even last like I don't even think they last a year.
Wait, this is in the last 6 years then that you started your podcast?
Yeah.
Andrew?
Right, so
So,
it's-
he's saying there's a chance. There's a chance.
There's a chance you stick with. So I mean, there is a chance. I started it as a hobby because I was like, I'm not doing anything with my life. Why not turn on a mic? And when I started my podcast, it was a different format in the sense that it was really like Wendy Williams. I know that's probably a bad example today, but that was one of my inspirations
Yeah, she's
because
great.
right
I
and like
love
know
her.
how she would say like you would go out with her at night and then she would talk about you the next day. So I was like with these New York
You
housewives
hung
or
out
New
with
Jersey.
Wendy Williams?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Just
I
the-
wish.
No. Hi, Wendy, if you're listening to this.
Hi,
We're right
Wendy.
here. We're here for you.
We are here for you. But it was like you can go out and like I'm going to talk about this like these fun little stories that people. That's how the podcast started. It morphed into something totally different. And I started it as a hobby, but I realized quickly from doing it that like I can't do anything as a hobby. Like I'll just sleep. Like I'd rather just sleep. And I realized I'm just a business person. And like
Yeah.
if I'm gonna do this isn't just for fun. We have to like
Right.
turn this. So very quickly then I got into the numbers of it and started being like, this needs to be a business. And now 5 years later, it's like a real business. I mean, it was a real business before 5 years, but it's a business.
So you have quite a following on Instagram. So what are all the platforms? So I guess where I want to go with this today was
Yes.
educating the audience on, so you want to be a podcaster, right, Andrew? Like we came up, I woke up one morning and said, people tell me you should do a podcast. So I woke up and said, well, fuck it. Let's do a podcast. I know nothing about it. Like when I got my husky, my dog, I didn't know anything about that breed and I regretted it.
And
Because
then she called me and wrote me in.
yeah, and so I
you're
called
like,
Andrew. I'm
"Here
like,
I
let's
am."
try this. So if you started from obviously a really a strong background in finance, in law, and you finish what you start. You finish college, you have your degree. A lot of people don't have that start, and they just jump into something. So do you think because you're so successful right now that start gave you a head start when you started your podcast, or do Andrew and I we just have no chance?
I think,
Because we don't have any of that.
no, I think, and I do podcast consulting on the side. Like for
Why do you think we have you
people-
on here?
Right.
Free consulting.
I was just going to say, we will waive the fee for today. No, just
Thank
kidding.
you.
Just
Oh,
kidding.
wow.
You're a friend. We're all friends. But no, I think there's so many mistakes most podcasts make. I do.
Right.
I think that helped, sure. But if you think about it, like I was now interviewing like not just reality TV stars. Like I interview like actual actors and actresses.
I was going to ask, yeah.
So I have no training in interview. Now, yes, being a lawyer helps, but I taught myself journalism, interviewing. When you see my show, like we get press. I think I got you press when you were on.
Oh, absolutely.
But like, so now I'm a PR agency on the back. Like this all does is
keeps
just
morphing.
Giving himself depositions daily.
yeah. I mean, look, the fact that I have a type A personality
Yes.
and OCD and like I'm a workaholic.
OCD? No.
Are you being sarcastic? I am, so that all helps, but no, I mean, most podcasts fail within the first like 3 to 6 months.
That's what I heard. I heard
Yeah,
that.
it's true.
Really?
Look, this is what I say to people. If you have to ask yourself, like, what are your goals? Like, if your goal is like I spoke to someone I was consulting once, and her goal was just to have a wine with her mom every Friday night and do a podcast. I'm like, well, you're achieving your goal. Like, I don't know
Right.
why you need my help. But, you know, if you want to make money and you want to get a business, that's a whole different thing. Yeah.
Let's get into the money thing. So
Let's get into
I
the
have
money
zero idea. Yeah, I love the money thing. I do not know. I know that I was watching Kelly and Rick's, the Kelly and Rick show, and they kept announcing. Yes, we'll talk
see.
about her later.
We'll talk about her later. Hi, Kelly. I know you're listening.
Hi,
listens.
Kelly. Hi, Rick.
Hi, Rick.
No, but they kept advertising Patreon. I was like, what is Patreon? So Patreons is how do people monetize podcasts? Because I don't understand it.
And see, because I think when Kelly and Rick, and I don't know what their model is now, but when they just started, they were just on Patreon.
Yeah.
And I personally don't think that's the model. So
I don't think so either.
It's not. It's
I
not
get
the
one
way
subscriber,
to make
It'll
one
limit the
paying
amount of
customer on
people can see you,
Patreon.
right?
I'm making $2.99 right now a month.
Okay, well, take the $2.99, but it's not the way to go. It's not, because so
Okay.
like Patreon, I think when they started, so like the thing is, if you have a regular podcast and you're on Apple and Spotify, look, you know why my podcast has made money? It's because I run it the same way I ran my staffing agency. There's not, to me, money in podcasting in one bucket. The way you make money is by having your hands in like every
Diversify.
cookie jar. So you'll make money here, 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 and it all adds up to a real living. Patreon is not, it can add up and it's
Okay.
money, but the thing about Patreon is, someone has to go and pay.
Right.
And then the thing is, say that you don't have your one person, say you have 1,000 people or even 100. The thing is, at the beginning of every single month, what happens is we go in now, it's if you have to recharge the credit cards. You don't do it, the system does it. You would be shocked in this world how many people's credit cards are just declined. 29 days ago, the thing
Rick
worked.
said something about that. Like, if you guys would just stay subscribed and quit canceling.
And that's the thing. So it's like some people's credit cards don't get recharged. They're just,
Okay.
They just don't work.
no one's home. Right. Now they figure it out on the third day of the month, but you start, like if you add 100, you might then have 89 on the first of the month. Now it could get back to 100 and then,
So I'm going to be minus
but
3?
The point is, you're going to be minus 3. But the point is, like, you really just have to keep working for that. And so
Okay.
it's a good chunk. Like, I have a Patreon, love my Patrons. It does make money. I
Okay.
just think when you have an only Patreon, you're leaving the bulk of it is ad sales. That is the
Only
bulk.
fan Patreon?
Only fan Patreon.
Oh,
like-
I thought you said
well,
you have an
like, no.
OnlyFan
Well, I
Patreon.
mean,
I'm like,
OnlyFans-
you have an OnlyFan on Patreon?
Well, you could just go
What do you
on
do
OnlyFans.
there? You show them your little toe.
You
you're
can just
like,
go on
bang
Because
OnlyFans.
OnlyFans is like a Patreon, but for different.
Listen, people, I mean, you'd be surprised at people on OnlyFans. I mean, you don't, it's...
Wait, are you on OnlyFans?
No, but
Oh.
I have talked to, I'm like, Jesus, I'm making
Like a nice recruiting
you just
agency.
Could like be like, hey, you know.
Yeah,
who
it's
knows?
crazy what people make.
Yeah.
So, okay,
make a lot of
that's
money.
another thing. Is like, I was like, I don't want to like show my toe. You know, I don't
That's
want to
the
have to
thing.
show.
I'm glad.
You know,
Thank you for doing
like,
that.
hi, here's my, oh, and then you go from a toe to like maybe a pinky, and then a nip slip, and then you're like, oh my God, here you go.
Well, you know.
So how do I make money on this
Do
podcast?
I need to leave the room so
yeah,
we can
I'm
finish this
not on
conversation?
OnlyFans because I also don't want to show things. But you know, Drea Di Matteo, do you know The Sopranos? You know that
Yes.
show? She just did some interview and said that that it A, saved her life, and B, she paid off like, I guess she has more than one house also. She had paid off like every mortgage within like minutes because she's on OnlyFans. And I don't think she shows anything. I think you don't have to get naked. I don't.
No, you don't. No, you don't have to.
I thought about just sticking a bra on my butt and turning around. It looks like boobs. So it's really not my tits.
That
I saw one with just an old man and a wife, and they just show them being happy on OnlyFans. They make a ton of money.
Are you kidding
Yeah.
I'm
me?
not kidding. It's just
Okay, so let's go back to the podcast thing. So
We
I'm
might have
not
to
going to
all
go into
go on
OnlyFans,
OnlyFans together.
but I need, I planned on my podcast really generating revenue in order to support my nonprofit to give to charities. So each guest comes on and I donate $1,000 to their charity of their choice. Well, I would like the Patreon or something to be able to, and all the production and everything, to be able to make up some of that money. So, I am obviously investing in this podcast to start with, but I would like it to start making money, but what else is there besides Patreon? What else? Like, okay, I joined channels on Instagram. I joined Spotify separately than RSS feeds. RSS feeds go to Apple and then go to all the other ones. I joined YouTube channels. I mean, I'm everywhere, but where do you make money?
Okay, well, all of the above. But listen, Rome wasn't built in a day. So I think in the beginning,
Okay.
no Patreon, YouTube, great, all. I think the main place in the beginning where you make money is the ad revenue, which you have to have a certain number. Like, I think you need around 5,000 downloads-ish per. I mean, I can introduce you to ad salespeople. You have to make like 5,000 downloads or more per episode.
And then people will start looking at you.
Then you can get an ad salesperson. So then you get an ad. Like, you will literally read an ad.
Okay. So, but downloads, you mean, because people don't download things, they stream them now. So
Is that what you mean by
what do you
download?
mean by, is that what you mean by
Downloads
downloads?
and
Is stream.
streams, yeah.
Stream. Okay. So Spotify, I think I got like 28 streams yesterday or something. So I'm
Whoa,
about
whoa.
4,970.
I need to get in. I need to see your computer. I need to see the numbers. But
Come on, David, fix me.
ad sales
I hit 100 subscribers on YouTube today.
okay, listen, every day is a step forward. We take our small
Baby
we take
steps.
we take baby steps.
So I'll listen to your parents and I'll go get a job.
So like
Start making some money.
Start making some real money and then go into podcasting.
So like if you wanted to advertise Vargas Vodka on like a top Bravo podcast,
Yeah.
you would call me and say, how much is this? And then I would be sitting there, and I would say,
Finding-
let me tell you, no, I mean, you would give me a mini script. I would improvise. And I mean, I really do drink vodka. So I would talk about Vargas Vodka and there would be a call to action, 20% off,
Oh,
That's
and then there's
what
a
you do.
code, right? Because Kelly and Rick always
Yeah.
have codes.
Yeah. So you're going to read that. And then
Okay.
here's the good thing about the ads is, look, you want to sell. Like, say you hired me. I'm not pitching my services here.
Hey, but maybe.
You're like, oh, is this why he's successful?
I like it, David.
But say you wanted to advertise Vargas Vodka on my podcast. So I would say, oh my God, Elizabeth Vargas, like,
Right,
Housewives,
okay.
because I mean, that's this audience, they're sleeping and they hear Housewives. Oh, well, wait, Vargas Vodka.
Right.
So then there's a code. So now you're going to look. Like, now here's the thing. You owe me the money, whether one person buys or not. That's the good thing about the ads. The Patreon starts over every month. You pay me to advertise. I mean, you have to pay regardless. I've never
Is
gotten
it
paid.
based on how many fans you have then or followers? Is how much I pay you? Or the
Yes.
engagement?
It's based on the numbers of the streams and downloads. Yep. There's like
On
an
your
actual,
page, not mine.
Right,
So
actual
okay. So there's no
format.
click-through payment. It's
No, but now what happens is, so you owe me that regardless. Say
Right.
$1,000. Now, if you sell zero, chances. Now, I always argue there's brand awareness, and just because we sold zero the first week,
Yeah.
so you might not rebuy with me. You're like, that was great. I'm not giving you another $1,000. I didn't sell one damn thing of vodka.
right.
But what if you sold like 20 bottles? Not huge,
Yeah.
but you'd be like, well, this isn't right. So now
See if there's something you can build on that.
yeah.
Well,
So
okay.
like you would owe me the money, but really my goal is to actually get people to buy it, because then so then when that happens, you have a client that says, we're buying, like just recently I had a client that with Jennifer Aniston hair care, Lola V. It's good. So they're like,
course hair care.
we're buying for the rest of the year, because apparently, so that, I mean, no one gets into details with me, but I mean, I must have sold this because they're rebuying for the whole
Did they
year.
contact you? Is that how this worked? Because you're behind the velvet rope. So obviously you have a stellar podcast. They knew you had the podcast. So then their marketing people contacted you and said, we have this budget. And you said, okay, I can do this.
Pretty
Is that how
much.
that worked?
And they started with like 1 week.
Okay.
They're like, we're going to start with 1 week. Would you mind giving us a free week? So instead of 1 week, I gave 2 weeks. Sure. Like, what do I care?
Okay.
Once you do the ad, it's the same. I mean, it's the same amount of work, basically.
And do you do one podcast a day or what do you?
Well, there is a podcast that goes out every day, but I don't record in real time. So like if
Every
I have
day?
Every single day, Andrew, I could not handle you for every day.
No.
There's you have days where you're like, and that's where it is a job. Like people don't, so I don't really record in real time, but people don't realize there are just days where like, I just don't feel like it. Like I'm like a human being. Like I just don't feel like turning on the mic today.
That is insane. So wait, that's one interview a day?
Well, I also now do gossip shows, which are so much better than I mean, for me, it's like,
because you've interviewed every single housewife ever, right?
Yeah, pretty. I mean, more or less.
Basically, you're like a news gossip, so every day it's the current gossip events.
There's some gossip. So then you're like, anytime it's not an interview, it's an easier show per se. Because the thing is, when someone comes on for an interview, whether you're A-list, D-list, huge, or like I've said yes. So to me, it's like, this is your time. Like it's my job to treat you like you're Brad Pitt and Julia Roberts.
Yes.
Right.
Whatever I think about you really it's your hour.
Why do you think I did your makeup?
Thank you. You know what I mean? So like you said, you had a good experience. It's kind of like you're in my house now. So I feel this is appropriate. And there's tea to get for the audience, and you do want questions. Like I'm coming after you. Like I got my own agenda here.
Right.
But even
I'm coming
if
after you. The way he said that, it was such good.
But we also
Very
want to
intense.
put on a good show for everyone. And
Yeah.
Daily Logic Check.
So where do you think you're going to go with all this? So you're saying that you can make money from the advertising, the Patreons, little bits here and there, but really, where do you see yourself? Because you're relatively new. I didn't know this.
5 years.
I mean, in the next few years, where do you plan on going with it? Because there's got to be do you want to get picked up by Peacock, maybe have your own show? What's your ideal outcome to this podcast thing?
Well, it's an interesting question because I feel like I'm in a yes, and yes. I would love to I get calls to go on these big podcast networks all the time. And I'm like, most of the time, by the time they're done talking to me, they're like, our advice is like, don't come on our network. Like you are a network. You're doing all of this already. So my goal, sure, I would love to get picked up and call me Peacock and let's go. But in the 5th year, it's like, I'm okay if this is truly just it because it is monetized well at this point. You know what I have found about the entertainment business?
What?
I have found that like the sexy, fun, amazing things which look great are the ones that just pay shit. And so sitting behind at home on a Zoom with behind the velvet rope, there's probably like bigger opportunities. And of course I'm available.
Right.
But you would be surprised if you just keep your head down and even though you're there's plenty of people that do. So it's like, I do have these goals, but if this is truly it,
so if Andy Cohen called you and said, David, I'd like you to, you know how he used to have the hot bartender? Does he still have the hot bartender?
There's always a bartender.
It's like, okay, let's go with David now, talking about he had an interview with so-and-so to cut his, because he's got a lot of work. He does a lot, right?
Yeah.
So he could cut down some of the work he does by really, I guess, outsourcing some celebrity podcast hosts like yourself, right? So would you take something like that?
I would take something like that.
I think so too. And that was sort of when I met you, I'm like, God, he would be really, really good coming on as like kind of the hot, like the guy that actually deals with all the people. Andy's kind of like here, and because you're into the nitty gritty, but you could also monetize it for yourself.
I'm into the nitty gritty, and I'm available for side gigs, and so it's like I say I'm the type that says yes to a lot of things.
Yeah.
Like there's 24 hours in a day.
Yeah.
I need to sleep, and that's you do it.
I'm more of a relax. I like to take most of my time to myself.
A lot of people.
That's my personality.
Yeah, I know. I get it. It's like I wouldn't be working hard if it wasn't monetized. I would just be like, I think 5 years in, I'd be like, this is the definition of insanity. I don't really quit things, but sometimes you have to know when. I don't think I'd still be doing it.
Do you interview the same housewife over and over again, or do you try and diversify?
All of the above.
All of the
There's
above.
people.
One show a day. So is your one show a day just like you and somebody, or got somebody on your show every day, or is there a lot of just you talking about the current events?
All of the above. I have to say, I never did it alone because I don't know why I just didn't, I thought that was like, I couldn't get a guest. Probably like a year ago, I started doing it alone, and it's like, no, it's a big, people are like, oh, it's like I branded it Just David, and people are like, I love this.
Okay.
Because sometimes you'll have like people love the interviews, but you'll have like this gossip person with you. And then the more you talk to some people, you're like, they don't know as much about housewives as I do.
Right.
And so I'm okay with that. But the audience is like, we want your co-host to shut the hell up. We just want it to be you. And one day I was like, yeah, why am I 4 years in and I haven't done this?
Yeah.
Believe it. So it's easier and harder when you do it yourself because you just can turn on. But then there are times where like, so my Patreon is usually just me. At the end of an hour or 45 minutes of just being you.
Just talking at nothing.
Yeah. You're
Someone
like,
shower me with shit, please.
You're like,
just
A,
dump it on me.
I'm fucking bored. I've bored myself. No one else seems bored, but I have bored myself. Yeah, and B, you're like, you have to keep talking. Like, we're not turning the mic off. The show's still going, so there's no of this like, it's kind of like being on Housewives. Like, if you're really confident in your ability, you want the person across from you to be crazy. You want this one to be screaming at you. You want to just show up and be like, oh wow, I don't have to do anything
You guys
here
are
except
a fucking disaster. I love it.
Right. Let me just try to catch the ball, but I missed it, and now someone's screaming at me. Well, that was an easy day at work. It's hard when you have to like bring it.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
So Andrew, speaking of bringing it, when my season 15.
Season 15
of the Housewives, it was interesting because I never had watched the show. I never knew really what Housewives was. When I got the gig, it was because of Too Short and David, his manager, said there was an opening. So I get this gig. They're like, well, who do you know? I'm like, Kelly. Well, I've seen Kelly Dodd partying with my neighbor on the beach. And so I kind of know her. They're like, okay, you know Kelly. So they immediately pigeonholed me into, you're Kelly Dodd's friend. Well, I didn't know anything about Kelly, and I didn't know anything about anything. So no big deal.
Did you guys ever meet before Housewives?
No. Oh, no, I saw her partying at my neighbor's house, but not, I should say relaxing at my neighbor's. I don't want to get in trouble. Sorry.
No, she was
hanging out.
Hanging out. Whatever.
Partying is a broad term.
Party's a broad term,
I mean,
But, and so, she's hanging out, and then I didn't like her at first at all. I thought she was,
shocker.
Yeah. Well, no, she was not my style, and but it didn't matter because I go, I get the gig on the Housewives. It was cool. And I didn't realize, I thought it was reality where you just be yourself. And I did not realize what you just said, which was you go on there and it's okay that they're assholes. It's okay that you got a bunch of bitches running around just calling you names, screaming at you, drunk. I just was not prepared. I was not ready for what hit me during that season. And so, I wish I would have had a second season, but I think, Andrew and I, we had to get to know that whole everything, whole world of drama. And there are people, like you said, you know a lot about Housewives. The culture of Bravo is insane. These people
are very dedicated.
Yeah. Andrew, how did you feel when people were trolling you when you were on the Housewives?
Oh, yeah, it was definitely interesting. I don't pay attention to anything. So I don't really, I don't read anything. I don't listen to comments. So it didn't really bother me too much. But when I noticed it when I was around her and we go around Orange County, we were in London and some person was just.
It was insane.
Google-eyeing, I think she knows you. And then she came up and then hung out with us. Super cool, a little of London, middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Was she oh my God?
Yeah. She was absolutely
we did not know this whole Bravo thing.
Made her week.
Yeah, and I always talk there's every housewife that only lasted one season has the same story of if I came back, I got it. I got it.
Yeah.
I knew what to do. Yeah, you don't. They really don't give you. They hire you and they're They're not going to give you advice.
like,
on
yeah,
what
they
to
don't.
do.
Yeah.
Put it this way. It's like having being in Rome and there's a lion in the middle of the stadium and they're like, go for it.
Yeah.
And they give you a tiny little toothpick to fight it.
Well, and then
Yes.
when we were kids, there was 5 of us, and Elizabeth was more like the negotiator, trying to get everybody to calm
Mediator.
Eck down. So that's kind of from what I saw, that's what she tried to do. But they don't want that. They want you to like jab
Yeah.
and poke and
They do. And what you also don't realize is like when you're with people like Kelly or just anyone else that was on.
Yeah.
Like who else was Vicky still
So-
on your season?
no,
Can you
so-
believe this? My listeners will be
Vicky
listening to this
just
and they'll be
she
screaming.
was a friend the year before. I
No,
think.
so Vicky and Tamara got fired the year they brought me
Right.
on, which was bad for me because everyone's like, "You replaced Vicky and Tamara with her." So and then I had the Bronwyn chick with the 19 kids or whatever, and then I
Bronwyn.
had just kidding, the 8 kids, and then I had the I never knew her, by the way. I never got to know her. She just hated me from the beginning, and I don't know why. Bronwyn.
Bronwyn.
And then I was on the same season as so Kelly Dodd was there,
Yes.
Gina. Emily.
Emily.
And then wasn't there one more?
Noella?
That was it, right?
No, that
Oh,
was
no.
Can
Yeah.
you believe this? But so like my point is like you take like a Kelly
Yeah.
or even like an Emily and Gina, like it's not only not reality for them, like they come into the season with like an agenda of how to play it. So
Right.
it's like, say like Kelly.
calculated.
Yeah, and
Extremely.
Emily are like hate each other. You are the fresh meat. Like, let's get Elizabeth in my team.
Yeah.
Let's get this one on my. So like they calculate. Like
Yeah.
I'm going to bring up this story. So you learn how to play it.
So
the longer
Bronwyn
you're on there.
contacted my ex-husband, found
I
his
remember all
information,
this.
and just I couldn't believe first off, what he told her.
We
Of my
talked about
personal
this when you were on
private
my show,
history.
yeah.
I was shocked that anyone
Yeah.
knew about my history. I was so appalled that Bronwyn would literally do that to me, or anybody would do that to anybody, that I realized this show is all about fangs, devils, and bitches. I just couldn't even, my mind was like spinning on how to handle it. And then I realized that they kept calling me liar, like Andrew. Remember, they kept calling us liars, and she doesn't have money, she doesn't do this. And I was like, I am whatever I say I am. I didn't realize you had to lie.
And you had to fight, even though because like Elizabeth, she has stuff, and they didn't have as much as she did. So
I
they
own
want to
my
talk.
houses as
They
well.
want
A
to
lot
talk
don't.
smack. Yeah, they want to talk smack, and then they assume, because I'm just used to around here, everybody, if you have something, you triple it, and that's what you tell everybody. So when people say around here that I have got this, everyone tries to knock you down to figure out what you really have so they can talk crap about you.
Yeah.
But when they did that to her, like, oh, she's just telling the truth,
They
which
couldn't
nobody
figure out
does.
everything I said I owned. I actually did. Like,
'Cause
here's
in-
the deed.
Because you're like down to earth, and
Yes,
so people
because she's
don't.
not from around here. She's from up north.
But I thought everybody was rich.
Right.
I'm like, okay, you're all renting?
No.
Wait a minute.
You had Shannon on your season too.
Oh, yeah, I had
Adore.
Shannon. Yes.
How could we forget Shannon?
Yeah.
I just ran into her at the grocery store right there.
Did you?
Yeah, just like a
Did
couple
she say
weeks-
hi to you?
Yeah, I said hi.
She hired my criminal defense lawyer for her DUI. So, it's what goes around comes around. Thank you, Gina. I hired Gina's DUI lawyer for my extortion case.
And that's who's.
Yeah.
See, yeah, that's the thing. No, anything from your past will come out. I mean, these
Yeah.
people dig.
Yeah.
They dig, and this is the culture.
Yeah.
And then they're like, let me wait till Elizabeth pisses me off, or let me wait till I'm looking around and it's
Yeah.
a boring season.
Yeah.
We're gonna bring this out. So they're like producing from within.
But how do you handle all the negativity? Because you're a nice, easygoing guy, from what I can see. I can tell you have a little bit of
I have an
fire
edge,
at you. You definitely have that side, but you're also, and you're very calculated. And you're very
I'm a Gemini, baby.
You're a Gemini.
Are you a Gemini?
That's my
We're
ex-husband.
Aries.
We're Aries.
Aries and Gemini usually get along.
we get
though.
along. No, we get along. I married one. Don't worry.
Yeah.
I know your style. You're a bottom and a top.
We have a little bit of everything here. Yeah, we have a little bit of everything. How do I handle it? Like all the people, the personalities?
Yeah,
or-
the negativity, like, because it seems like it's all consuming. Because I realize it's more like today's housewives are like the soap operas from back in the day when they used to have Days of Our Lives. I'm aging myself, but these are the days of your lives as the stomach turns. And so they don't have that anymore, right? So it's kind of like now we have housewives, we have Andrew Cohen, we have all this stuff, but it's very negative. It's very just negative. How do you handle it?
Well, that's a good question. I have to say, and I don't understand how people don't do this, but it really has become a business to me that I could truly, this is the Gemini side.
Yeah.
Yeah, because listen, I have a
Geminis
lot
are
of...
loaded, by the way. You guys are rich.
we
Geminis know how to save their pennies.
Andy Cohen's a Gemini.
He is?
Yeah.
Oh, that's why I like him. Okay.
Because look, I have a lot of people that love me and hang on every word, and I have a lot of trolls that come after me, and this is advice that I would give to someone. When you start something that is putting you in the public eye or partly in the public eye, there are going to be people that hang on every word and just live for you. They're just like this woman in London that you say that I can't even believe, they're just going to live for you. And then there's going to be people that you could fly in on a unicorn with rainbows coming out of your ass, and they're just going to hate you. And you know what? Neither person knows you.
Yeah.
So that's my advice. So something happened, like, of course, like I'm a human, like when I started, but you just, at some point, you're like, I just don't care. And you just learn. I read comments because I like to respond to the people that listen to me every day. I mean, I'd like to not read any of the comments and not do any of it, but
it's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work.
But that helps you connect with the audience, which in turn helps you monetize
engagement,
your life.
Right?
Yeah, and I think when you have a bad, like, I know when I have a bad episode. No one else, some people are, that was a great episode, and I'm like, it sucked. I mean, I say that to myself. It was a horrible episode, but thank you. And then other people are like, this episode was phenomenal. And I'm like, it was. Like, we
nailed it.
We got a good one here. I mean, it's been a while. So I think, like, when you have some bad episodes or you're like, geez, that's the people, I think they feel like it's a community and they stay with you because they're like, oh, people tell me, oh my God, you always answer me. And I'm like, I mean, it's
engagement's really, really good if you can handle it.
Yeah.
I've literally been getting so tired. Like I've been trying to answer everybody and I started all these channels and everything. And I'm so tired. My eyes just looking at my phone. I'm like, by the time I'm done, the last couple weeks, I'm exhausted. And I'm thinking, I love to listen to their opinions, what they have to say, but I mean, kudos to you but you're making money at it. When you're not making any money, you're like, why am I doing this?
I really truly mean this. I said it. If this wasn't my job, I'm telling you, you would still hear from me. You would still hear from me. I would never be on social media. I would never. You'd be like, is he alive?
You'd be out of my Duffy right now, cruising, just having some champagne.
The only reason I'm ever on social media and anybody ever sees me is because of her.
He doesn't do any of it.
Makes me she'll tag me and then she'll make me repost. And that's it.
Well, now that you do this, but I do have friends in the world that a lot of them that are just happy. They are like, there's no Instagram, there's no this, and they're like the happiest people. To me, it's like, I have no choice. This is my job.
Yeah.
But if it wasn't, I don't understand. I don't understand why anyone's on social media if it's not tied to your job or you're not making money. What do you get out of this?
So what do you think about the social world?
My guess is their lives, because they just 9 to 5 every day, and it's their getaway. Just kind of like you like watching a movie, and it gets you into a different world. And everybody wants to make themselves feel better by like the life doesn't suck, so they want to make this facade like it is.
Right.
And it doesn't help your mental well-being.
No.
But that's just why they do it, I think.
What do you think of the whole influencer culture? I mean, so all the kids now are growing up seeing the Kardashians, famous for whatever, and they all think they can do it, but it's like 1 in a billion.
No pun intended. 1 in a billion. Yeah, I mean,
what are the odds? Like, what would you tell somebody? Like, first off, it used to be go be a doctor, go be a your
YouTuber
parents,
and an influencer.
And now it's like go be a YouTuber, go be a DJ, go be a influencer. I mean, what suggestion would you give some young person that is growing up when they go, oh, I see this person making $1 million a month on OnlyFans, and I see another person making $250,000 a year on, being an influencer for some energy drink. What would you?
my advice would be like, it's not, that is great money, so go for it, but it doesn't last. Like at 22, I get it, you're hot, you're on OnlyFans, you're making like $75,000 a month. This will not by its nature last, so go and make the money.
Right.
But it's not going to last, so like
Invest
how much
it.
are you spending a month and save it?
What's your burn rate? What's your,
Save
what's
your
your
money.
nut on
And
it?
just like when I did have my staffing agency where I did make money for a lot of years, which we don't need to get into how many it was. It was a long time before I sold it. I literally from day one had so like I do run my podcast the same way. Like here's an example. I just did my taxes. Like I had a great year last year, like better than I even really thought.
Great.
And then, so I was having a thing with my accountant. I'm like, we have to like decrease the estimated payments this year. Cause like, I just think I'm on target to make less money based on, and he's like, I don't understand that. And I'm like, eventually people will probably just get sick of me. And I don't know if I will make less money this year, but like eventually, so I think that's my advice, and that's how I ran my company when I had it. Granted, I had a lot of good years, but I just was always like, if you're making it yourself and producing it yourself, it's just subject. Like Instagram could be shut down tomorrow. Yeah.
Right.
YouTube could be shut down. You could be kicked off OnlyFans. So like, it is such a thin. You can. I'm sorry. When you dip in your little toe, so it's like, just like it's so. I don't know. Like it's so.
Yeah.
It's so fleeting that go and make it, but really understand next month is
Assuming
not.
it's going to last for your life
industry.
is not a good
No.
business plan. It's not a good life plan.
No.
Yeah, what if, imagine if, so the TikTok issue's going on right now. And
Which I hate TikTok.
I can't stand, okay, is it my age?
I've never even been
I
on
can't
it.
stand TikTok.
I refuse to even go on it.
I'm on TikTok and I can't stand it. I feel like a dork. I'm like,
Give me
a filter.
I tried it and it just didn't take off for me, and I secretly hope that it's banned. I'm sorry for everyone out there.
That's funny,
I
so
would
do
love
I.
for it to be banned.
yeah.
I don't.
I'm over it.
I don't let my daughter be on it. I let her be on Instagram, but it's probably a bad idea.
And by the way, that's Kangen water. It's all filtered, the whole house. So it's really hydrating if you feel like
No, I do first the coffee, then I'll take some of the champagne.
And then you'll do the water and then a shot of vodka.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, but like your daughter does TikTok, right?
Yeah, no, I don't let her touch TikTok.
It's owned by
Instagram.
a Chinese company, so
Yeah.
we can't control the data. So now we're
don't
trying to make them
control
sell it.
Instagram. So
No.
it doesn't really. We don't even control Instagram or Facebook. So it's,
Yeah, but what if it was
And
shut down
Instagram's
tomorrow
another
by
one.
aliens?
that'd be awesome.
Next thing you
would be
know, wait, do you believe in aliens? I'm just curious. Do you believe in any of that conspiracy theory?
Like, yes and no. I believe in aliens.
Like, what
Like,
kind?
well, there's some life out there, probably.
You think
right?
so?
There's too many planets. Too much stuff.
But
It's the same as like, do you believe in the afterlife and ghosts? Isn't that almost the same or no? You put
No, because you can't. I don't think we could ever. Even no matter how much time goes on, we'll never prove anything about that. But I think enough time goes on.
Yeah,
we
that's
will
true.
know if there's aliens.
That's
have you ever
true.
felt
Good point.
like when you're in your room or anywhere? Have you ever felt another entity in the same room with you?
Well, I've had a lot of mediums on my podcast, like Teresa Caputo, the Long Island medium, Tyler Henry
Okay.
from E.
What do you think of
I
that?
haven't, but apparently you haven't. Lots of people
No, I
have.
haven't.
Totally.
I believe in the afterlife just because I think it's comforting too that your loved ones are watching
Somewhere.
you now, right? So I believe in it for that reason.
I don't.
agree. Right, I agree with you that we're probably never gonna ever know for sure.
We've talked about my house is haunted, like straight up. Just 2 days ago, Sam came over, and he's like, "Why is Novelle singing?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?"
Yeah.
And she's in the bathroom singing. I'm like, "She's downstairs on her tablet." And he's like, and Jay and Sam were both like, "No, there's someone in your bathroom singing."
Yeah.
Nope, nobody in there. They opened it, it was empty. They're like, "I'm gonna go."
So I don't.
That's interesting.
I don't understand any like. Andrew, you have those ghosts, and I know you have to have something because
My house is
every
so
single
weird.
person comments on his house.
And
It's
my
not
house
even a
is
joke.
so weird.
And you don't want to move?
Oh, I love it.
Okay.
I
Weird.
want to be proven because in the history of the world, there's never been like, look, here's a picture of a ghost, a real picture that multiple can be verified. Nothing. So I want to see aliens. I want to feel it because it's not. People don't
That's
die from
interesting.
ghosts. It's a
No.
So I'm not scared. I think it's amazing, and I'm so excited. I'm just like literally puts a smile
You're
on my
not
face.
living alone.
Yeah.
So okay. So here's my next question on the whole ghost thing. That if they're actually, so I think that we're all energy. We're all built to something, and when we die, we have to. That energy has to go somewhere because they can't just go nowhere. I mean, so are you sure they're ghosts, or is it just another form of energy? It's just us in another form of energy that's
I don't
there.
know, but it's really cool.
And do they all have to be scary? Can't they just fucking be normal? Like, can't they be hot? Like, what if I had a hot stripper ghost?
I mean,
I want a hot.
that's possible.
Right, you're real booty.
No,
So give me a hot ghost.
I don't, but
That's
each his own.
possible.
I mean, why can't we have a hot ghost? Why can't we have like?
Well, they could
you
be,
know-
but I don't, like I'm saying they could be, but they're singing on this door.
Why
and
do
I
they
don't
gotta
see
be
them.
in sheets and weird ass stage?
Did you ever watch
sheet
American
shit?
Horror Story season 1?
No.
It was Murder House, and there were some hot ghosts there.
Oh.
Yeah.
See,
was-
if Hollywood's gonna do it, they're gonna be hot.
But anyway, I mean, okay. So back to the TikTok thing. You know,
No, my house is trippy, and it's
Interesting.
It's the craziest thing. But yeah, I haven't let her be on TikTok. I let her do a little bit of social media, but I constantly am trying to educate her on knowing that it's not real. What you see on there is not real. People will make you think that this is real life.
Yeah.
That's not what they're doing. They take 1% of their life that doesn't
all
suck,
fake.
and that's all you see. So you think their whole life doesn't fake. Like a picture, you take a picture and you're like, wow, that's amazing. I like those TikToks where you get a picture and like, wow, that's beautiful, and then it shows everything else around it. It's a garbage pit.
Yes.
Like that's, and I show my daughter. See, I mean, that's TikTok.
Like there was someone, I forgot who it was. It was some like pseudo celebrity who was like on vacation apparently for her honeymoon in Italy, and it was like literally at like a Buca di Beppo, like in the room, and you're like, yeah, it's all fake. Like I don't have FOMO on
no.
online. Like I don't look at people's lives and say, oh wow.
Yeah,
I wish
None
I
of
had that.
No.
But so many people do though.
I truly post for work, and then like at night, like when I'm in bed, like I scroll just to like turn my mind off,
Yeah.
or to like stay on top of things. But I don't.
What do you
really-
scroll? Instagram or
Instagram.
Instagram? Okay. You don't scroll the shorts on YouTube anymore, or do you? Have you ever?
I never do that. Some
Okay.
people do. I never do that.
See,
I only get them to send to my friends. I got a group of like 7 people, and we just send each other funny clips, funny memes,
Yeah.
and that's all it's worth. To me, that's all it's worth.
Yeah.
I just think, a lot of the social media, everything, I think today's society, everybody lives through their phones, and there's so much fake out there that they can't differentiate. That's why people go postal, because they can't have what that person has, but what they don't realize is
don't
that
have it.
airplane was
Right.
at a studio. That
In
person
LA.
doesn't have an airplane. It's at a studio. That Lamborghini is rented.
But if you're really happy with yourself, then
Yeah.
you are
But nobody
not
is.
But
That's
nobody-
the problem. Nobody is. Because
That is
everybody
a
thinks that they
problem.
need this to be happy, but in reality, you need nothing to be happy.
true.
You need nothing to be
Yeah.
happy. So having all this stuff doesn't help your happiness. It might help something else part of your
It
life. than all your
helps, but it doesn't.
I'd rather cry in my Ferrari.
Yeah,
doesn't-
that's what
yeah,
everyone
I
thinks.
mean,
That's what everyone thinks.
It doesn't. Look, I think it, like if you have it figured out inside,
Yeah.
anyway, you might as well have it. All these
Oh, absolutely.
things.
If
But
if
it
you are
doesn't-
happy, yes. Happy
it
in a
won't.
jet is better than happy in a Honda
Yeah.
Accord.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think like if you buy, like, like, I don't know, I'm self-aware. So like when I'm like, today's a shopping spree, I'm like, okay, like what are we trying not to deal with in reality here today,
Yeah.
David?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's okay. So now we've dealt with it. Let's go shopping anyway.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
think it doesn't make you happy.
But most people think
not.
that they need the
Correct.
money to get happy. As soon as they get that money, and then when they get the money, it didn't make them happy. They're like, oh, I need more money and I need more stuff.
Right.
Well, this
And
is like that guy that died. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. That guy that died in the submarine. He was
Yes.
a billionaire.
Yes.
I'm like, you just don't know what to do with your time. Like, so
Or
this
your
is what-
money.
yeah.
Obviously,
Yeah,
you just have
obviously.
way too much time on your hands.
Let's go on this weird carbon fiber thingy that didn't pass any tests. Let's just
But I
go to
heard
the
that they
bottom.
didn't really die. They were they owed all this money to other countries, and that they just made them disappear.
Oh, you do like the conspiracy theories.
I
No,
did not
because
hear
if you
that.
want to disappear with your son,
hear that.
pick somebody. He didn't pick his wife. He picked his son to go on there. So if you want to disappear for the rest of your life, go into, with all your money, You literally pick the person so he picked his son.
And go have hot new girlfriends.
Exactly. Go spend some money with your little
Go
hottie
live in Bali or
tottie.
something.
Leave your wife with the daughter, I guess, and the wife didn't look very happy. She's like, here's some billions, just knock yourself out. I think he's alive. I think they're all alive. I think it's bullshit.
Is Elvis alive too?
Yeah, I'm not sure about
Jimi
these.
Hendrix, is he around?
Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson for sure is alive.
Prince.
For sure. Prince is alive for sure.
Prince is alive, yeah.
Beyonce's fake. I think she's an alien.
Daily Logic Check.
No, but back to the whole point of social media, I've learned that, it's. I don't know if we should be sad about today, when everyone just looks on their phones for their happiness and their jealousy and their spite and their rage, and then their aspirations are all online. Like, I want to be an influencer. We're forgetting about everything else. When I grew up, we did have a sandbox, a true one. We had. Yes. Which you peed in, and I played in it, you motherfucker.
Hey, I was like 4.
I know, but you also pooped in it. I think one of you guys,
it definitely
somebody
wasn't me.
pooped in it.
Well, of course, you watch cats do it. You're
Maybe
thinking
the dog.
that's
We lived
what
on
you
a
should
farm,
do.
and it could have been the
We lived in the
chickens.
middle of nowhere.
Oh, well, there you go.
Could have been the sheep.
Yeah, we had
chickens.
sheep, cows.
But, nobody
chickens.
has any of the external vices anymore. And obviously I'm showing my age, but I really look at these kids and I want to just take them outside. I want to throw them in the ocean or that's why when people make fun of surfers, and we're going to have some skimboarders on here, some surfers, they love the ocean, they love nature, and people are like, oh, those guys are hippies. And no, they love
go outside.
activity.
Yeah,
There's nothing wrong with an outside
Whenever
activity.
my daughter asks me to do something, she's 13.
Yeah.
And whenever she wants to do anything that's not her phone, there's no chance I'm going to say no. How do I make it happen?
Yeah.
You're happy.
Yeah, go for a walk. Go with your cousin. You two go for a walk, and that's fine. Just be careful, be safe. It's daytime, but get outside. That's all I did when I was a kid. I loved every minute of it.
Do you think that in the environment of today's society that the kids eventually social media will die down and we'll get back to reality, or do you think we'll always be AI?
I don't know. Because, you could argue that it's, gone so far. Eventually, the thing that's going to be so novel and new is going to be, human interaction.
Yeah.
Yeah. This new thing called talking to people in person.
I mean, we're not headed there at the moment, are we?
No.
What do you think of AI?
It's it's getting. I just saw something the other day. I think it's a Chick-fil-A where they now have their first restaurant where you go in and there's literally one person working there. It's a way to take an automated order.
I don't mind that because human error sucks at fast food restaurants.
I'm a big human interaction person, and I like that machines make our lives better, but I don't want to replace that talk to somebody.
I do.
Well, also so I have friends that live in Phoenix, in Scottsdale, Arizona, and they have the test cars are working. I mean, they're not going to do this in LA or New York, but the test cars where there's no driver, they have them there.
Yeah.
I'm that's just weird.
Getting picked up by a machine?
It's just weird. I mean, I would maybe not want to be the first, 10,000
or the drones.
people.
No way. I'm not going to
Give
get
it
to buy a
10
drone
years, and then I
taxi.
want to be driven everywhere, and I don't want to ever drive again.
Yeah.
Once there's been enough data and it looks like it's safe enough.
Yeah, well, I don't drive.
We picked you a VIP today.
Yes, thank you.
So you don't drive, really?
No,
He's a New Yorker.
I have a home in the Hamptons where it's just as hard to get around there without driving as in LA. Just Uber is so.
Yeah.
It's changed.
You don't have a car?
No, I haven't driven in
Wow.
Everyone thinks it's weird. I haven't driven
so
in
weird.
literally a really long time. At this point I couldn't drive. We'd be dead.
Thank God that we
Really?
sent you a driver then. That was appropriate. How did we know?
No, I just don't drive. I don't have a car.
I mean, I get it when growing up in New York,
Whatever.
because that's the whole East Coast is a lot more set up for not driving. The West Coast, where you can't live on the West Coast without driving, or it's just if you don't drive enough, then I guess Uber, because cars aren't cheap. But I need the freedom because I just get up and go all the time randomly.
No, I don't in LA.
Yeah.
The The Ubers are not expensive. They just don't come. In the Hamptons, the Uber, they'll be like a, you know
I
why?
love it, the Hamptons.
They, like,
I've never been to the Hamptons, so I don't know.
it's a nice
Do you see Rick and
place.
Kelly over there? Doesn't he have a place in the Hamptons?
They have it in West Hampton, darling. I'm in Sag Harbor.
Oh,
Actually,
I didn't know that there was like.
I think Rick is selling or sold that place. It went up for sale.
I don't know. You're welcome for the airtime.
Seriously. It's weird because like when someone, I don't know if it was you, there's two, when Bronwyn was on my podcast, she said stuff about Kelly. Kelly calls me screaming. Megan King Edmonds. I'm like, every time someone's on my podcast and doesn't, I think maybe when you were on it, I don't know if you said anything bad about her, but she'll like pick up and I'm like, first of all, I didn't say this, so like I don't know why you're fucking calling me. And second of all,
Kelly loves the drama.
This is the job. And see, that's where you ask like how I deal with all the drama.
Yeah.
I think most of these housewives are certifiably insane because it's like
Thank you. I could not agree with you more.
You can't separate like the work from like a reality. Like this is their life.
Livelihood.
Like Kelly, my advice to Kelly is like, why do you fucking care? Do your job with Rick and go to bed. You get really angry on your platform.
Yeah.
And then she cares. Oh, she cares.
But why do they
I'm like,
care so much?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
What a life.
I
That's
thought
not
it was
a
That
life.
sounds stressful. That sounds not
Listen,
happy.
I thought it was fake. Kelly's being mad at me.
No,
I was like
no.
trying to play into this fake fight. No, this shit was real. Her text messages, I was like,
Yeah.
oh my God, this is real. She's really angry with me.
Yeah.
Because I was like, oh, Kelly, everyone's loving our fight. And she's like, basically, go fuck yourself. I was like,
I have DMs where she's like, fuck you and this and that. And I'm like, and the crazy thing is, and I say this on air, in the scheme of all the housewives, I really don't mind Kelly.
I don't either.
I find her at least, I mean, that to me is
Entertaining.
better. And I'm a New Yorker. So if you DM me and you're like, fuck you, and I'm like, at least you're okay. Like, I'm okay with this. Like,
fuck you too. Let's go to lunch.
Tell me how you really
like
feel.
I can deal with aggressiveness. I can't deal with passive aggressiveness.
Yeah,
you know
no,
what I mean?
gaslighting. Show me shirt.
Gaslighting.
This is Kelly and Rick in a shirt right there.
Right? So I really don't have
Literally.
I really don't have a problem with Kelly. She comes after me and then tells me
Yeah.
to fuck off, and I tell her to fuck
Didn't she
off.
just come after you? Like a couple months ago, like 6 months ago?
With Megan King Edmonds.
What
And
happened with the
here's
Meghan King
the
thing?
Well, once you're on my show and you say something, I don't even remember what you fucking say. Yeah, like there's gonna be a headline, Kelly, like I'm not gonna not ask about you if
Yeah.
you're on the OC Housewives,
Yeah.
but I honestly don't even know what Megan, like I truly don't.
No.
And whatever it was, it sent Kelly into it. I know what you're fucking doing. Yeah, I'm doing my job. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna ask. Like, this doesn't scare me off,
Yeah.
Kelly.
But the weirdest things throw housewives off. Like, I was doing something. Oh, I listed my house with Gina, and it just pissed the fuck out of Kelly off. I'm like, why would me listing my house
Right, like,
with
see,
Gina piss you off? Where are you coming into this picture? How did you enter the realm
Right.
of me selling my house,
Yeah.
and then now you're mad at me? So
So
I went on a
that's-
podcast, and I'm like, fuck her.
I think I remember this.
Just
Like,
because I was just
semi-recent-
sick of it.
Who
I
cares?
was just done of being nice, and like I just didn't understand it. I'm like, she's really mad, and I wasn't gonna go on a podcast, but I was tired, and I was like, at this point,
Call me next time and come
dude,
on behind
I
the velvet
should
rope.
have. I
mean,
was like, and I can hold my temper. I'm really, really even keeled because I got a lot to lose. I got a lot going for me and a lot to lose. I don't lose my temper, but I did not gaslight people that gaslight me. My ex-husband gaslighted constantly. So when Kelly and Rick started gaslighting me, and bullying me, my
you saw
fucking
red.
bulldar went up because my ex-husband was a huge bully. So when Kelly started bullying me, my rage just boiled in my fucking skin.
She just doesn't like Gina, so therefore you shouldn't.
She's
get
like Gina, so then she's like, good luck selling your fucking house, which makes me look bad. I'm trying to sell a $9 million house, Kelly.
Did Gina sell it? Or she's
No,
still
not
selling
yet. We just listed it. It takes
yeah.
a year in the desert to
Yeah.
sell. So she's dogging in the press, and I'm doing the best I can. Just in
And she's
life.
doing an amazing
And here's
job.
Kelly leeching onto my butthole, like talking shit. I'm like, here, why don't you just eat my shit? Like, do something.
I've heard
like,
Gina is like more of like she really takes her job. Like it's like
it's
being
completely
super
professional.
Yeah.
There was, and I did it because Gina has celebrity clout. Say I end up renting it, we can't sell. Who knows what's going to happen? But for
you didn't give it to her because she's on The Housewife. She's like a real agent.
She's a real fucking agent.
The house needs to be sold. People.
Exactly, and not only that, but remember, I was on the whole COVID episode season where it was women help. Remember Brahman, women helping women, and then she like dogs all the women, and you're like, I'm actually truly for helping women, like or in general, not just women, but just people. I'm not. I used to be a big people pleaser, but now that I've sort of made it at a certain level, I'm less of a pleaser and more of a helper. Like
Gina must be thrilled.
You want to hustle. I saw Gina as a hustler. I said, look, these real estate agents these days are just lazy. Like they are entitled, lazy. They're used to getting their commission and money coming to them, or they're used to just drinking on the weekends, not even answering their phone if you want to look at a house. Like I cannot believe how fucked up the real estate industry is right now.
And Gina's doing good.
And so I know she's hungry. She's got a huge family, and I was like, this woman's gonna bust her girl balls for me.
Yeah.
And then she happened to be pulled up on my feed. I was laying in bed right over there, and I was like, I'm gonna list my house, but what do I do in the desert? And
She's
I had a really good
line.
agent, but I really wanted celebrity on that house because it's right next to the Madison Club, which the Kardashians live. I needed somebody with more television clout. Sure as shit, Gina pulls up, and I list it with her. Well, I think Kelly and Rick had some friends they wanted me to list with or something. I don't fucking know the whole backstory.
No, I think she just doesn't like Gina Kirschenheiter.
I think,
that's
yeah,
what it
and
is.
so
Yeah, but she's done an amazing job. Tons of calls like, how can we do this? Can I do this? We need to make
Travis
it look
and Gina are just
and they've
phenomenal.
spent lots of time out there making it look just beautiful,
Yeah,
just as
yeah,
good.
yeah.
And that's anybody
What
else
more
that'd have
do
been
you
like,
want?
they would have given even a non-celebrity real estate agent wouldn't even give us that much time.
But back to the whole logical process of you deciding to get into this drama-filled world of housewives and really engulfing yourself in this really takes a lot of, I'm going to call it stamina, because every day you have to wake up, you got to deal with people like the Ricks and Kellys of the world. You got to deal with the people like the Vanderpump Rules or the Jersey Shores or the celebrities. Do you ever see yourself getting out of housewives and going more towards the celebrity behind the the velvet rope with more like the Brad Pitts of the world? Because you're really good. I mean, or do you want to just stick with us housewives?
Well, let me put it this way.
You're gonna be stuck with us, the troughed feeders.
Okay, let me put it this. I mean, I do have like real celebrities on, but the bottom line is I could have Taylor Swift on my podcast. I think my audience would rather me have Gina Kirschenheiter on. Really. And that's
Okay.
It's like
That's your demographic.
So we
it's
are your
really-
celebrities as
You
housewives.
are, and I do and I have a lot of like the Brad Pitt types. I'm trying to think like what celebrities I just had on, but I can tell you dealing with the actual real celebrities it's different because there's agents and managers sometimes and networks, but they come on, they do it, you thank them. There's no like, let's keep in touch. Sometimes there is, but it's like, it's so professional. And then yes, you have housewives on that are just like, oh my God, there's so much drama before they get there. And not all of them, not you. Like
Who was your most drama? Okay, as far as interviews are concerned, I want your best interview and the most dramatic interview.
I'm trying to think out of housewives who, like, there's certain, like, Countess Luann has been on my show. Like, we're friends now. Like, she's been on my show, like, probably the most out of any housewife.
Okay. Do you like her?
We have truly become friends. You know why I love
That's great.
Luann? Because she just gets it. I mean, we're friends, but she was loyal to my show. Because, like you say, like, how do I deal with all this? I think when I first started, like, I cared. Like, I cared if, like, a Kelly, oh my God, if Kelly was mad at me, I would be like, how is this
I
going
can't
to
see
work?
you. You're a Gemini. You care, but then you don't.
Right, I care on, but now it's like, I think because my show is established, now I'm just like, I'm not getting in the middle of your fucking battle. Like, I don't give a shit if you don't like Gina. I'll have you on Monday, and I'll have Gina on Tuesday, and if you don't like it, that sounds like a you problem. So I don't give a fuck.
That's the way to go.
You know? And so, like, when I talk in the world, like, when Kelly acts like an asshole and tells me to fuck off, I'll say, like, she can go fuck herself.
Yeah.
Then I am over it. So, like, then the next day when someone's like, Kelly's great, I'm like, yeah, she's fine, great, like, whatever. So it's people like when Kelly gets mad at you for hiring Gina, like, the amount of they think about it
Yeah.
24 hours
Yeah.
a day, and it's every franchise.
Yeah.
This one's mad at that one, so what did that one say? And I'm like, I just separate myself from all of that.
Yeah.
Like if I like you one-on-one, then I really don't care what anyone else says, and if someone else doesn't like it, like isn't that a lot of energy?
So,
That's a
so you
lot of
have.
energy.
So, what was your most dramatic interview that you'll never do again? Like, did you ever have anybody that you were just like, "Go fuck yourself, get out of my stage"?
No,
Or-
I've never done that. I feel like there are certain people like, first of all, I would always have someone back on if it's going to rate. But there are certain
I'm gonna make
ratings.
money. You can come
You
back.
whore! You are on your
like,
OnlyFans.
there are certain people, like, for instance, we'll just keep it in the OC. We'll keep it in the OC. Like, I had on Gina Keogh.
Okay.
You know her? Like, do you know her? You could have listened
I
to
don't know her, but-
she's a real estate. Like, she just, like, was yawning during it, like, and I'm just like, I didn't care. My audience was not happy with Miss Keogh because my audience like
They like you.
they're like and then eventually she's like, I think like we're gonna go or whatever, and she was walking into her because it was on Zoom. She was walking into her garage to get in her car, and I'm like, we have to say goodbye. You can't just throw the phone down. Like we have to, but she just like when she was over
Yeah,
it,
that's
but it was literally
inconsiderate.
like, what was the question? And I'm just like, are you?
Maybe she just used something in her mouth, so she yawned a lot.
I think she was really stoned or something. I don't know. But
She's like, oh.
maybe. And I'm like, this is okay. It would still have you back, but I mean, we don't need to ask you back. It's fine.
Yeah. So wait, that was the most boring. But I mean, did you have anyone that's ever truly made you mad? Like where you were just like, okay, I like the ratings on this, but this person I can't stand. Anybody? Because I can't wait till I interview.
There's
You're the first
definitely
person I've
people
never
that-
really met in person. Never met in person.
And you can't stand me.
No. Our mom goes, you're going to be interviewing people that you're just not going to like. Because I'm like, there's some people in my lineup that I'm not sure about. She's like, not everybody in your lineup you're going to like. And I thought, I guess she's got a point. So is there
Yeah.
anybody that really made you mad?
I'm trying to think.
Or that you want to say?
No, I mean, I really can't think. I feel like there's nobody that really made me mad. There's people where you're probably just like, you can't always tell. So, like, you'll have someone on and you'll be like, this person seems like a little boring to me. And then they'll be like amazing.
Yeah.
And then they'll have other people and you'll be like, they're just so fabulous. And it's just so flat. It's like you'll ask a question, they'll answer it.
And then it's over.
Okay, I have another question. Okay. And so you're doing the job, like you're supposed
Yeah.
to answer the questions, but you're like, this is just like we're 25 minutes
not
in.
flowing.
No. And this is just like, we're going to keep going, but this is just a miss.
Yeah.
And then there are other people, you're like, this person, they had a moment on the show
Yeah.
or whatever. You're like, I'm not. And then they're like amazing in real life. And you're like, wow.
So why would people? So tell me
Like
about your
that.
I mean, I listen to your podcast. Obviously, like you, I'm busy a lot also. So I'm not an everyday listener.
You
but
can just turn it on and not listen. Here's the thing about the downloads and stuff. You don't have to pay attention. So just turn it on, turn down the sound, and just listen to my show every day. And you could pretend
so
you
is
listen.
it all housewife stuff or what do I expect when I
No,
listen
I mean,
to your
like, I'm
show?
trying to think of some people that, like, like, I just had on, like, Dita Von Teese, like, the
Oh, I
burlesque.
love
right?
Dita Von
Isn't she
Teese.
great?
Oh God, I love her.
She was great.
How do you get these people?
I have a booker. Sometimes people just DM me.
Okay.
So, like, I had her, and I had, like, we do a lot of, like, I had Nicole Eggert from Baywatch. We have, like, a lot of the, like, 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think.
I
who
can guess
else.
your age.
I mean, we have current people too.
Who would you love to have on your show that you haven't had on your show? Is there a special
It
wish?
always keeps changing. Well, I mean, I'm like a huge, like, I love 902, and I want Shannon Doherty from 90210. That's like on the
Really?
top of my list.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shannon Doherty. So his age would be
That's-
90210.
Well, that was in the 90s. That was a big thing, 90210. But
yeah.
But you were really little in the 90s, right?
I was very little when this happened. I barely remember, and that's why I want her on my show. But I've had on, like, you would know, like, I've had on Suzanne Summers before she passed away twice. I had on Fran Drescher.
Yeah. Oh, Fran.
Like, these are some fun.
What happened to Fran anyway?
She is the president of SAG-AFTRA, and she is like the whole strike we just had
Yeah.
and all that. That was led by Fran Drescher. So she has her hands full and her dance part
Wow.
full. Yeah, she's like the real deal. I mean, she still lives in Hollywood and Annie and
Are you
all
dating?
that.
Did you move here for a guy?
I moved here for work. I moved here.
Wait a second. That was a.
No, I moved here because I was literally, now the world is opened, if someone wants an in-person interview like this, it's nice, right? So I
was
offer
excited
that.
to see you sit down and really get the 3D, you know.
It's a lot better than the podcast. I mean, that's over the Zoom.
The dynamics are, so I would offer that, and my booker would reach. And so a lot of people were saying yes. And you know what's really weird? People in New York will live 2 blocks from literally, when I say 2 blocks from the studio, and they'll be like, I'm not meeting you in person. Here, people are like an hour away, and they're like, oh yeah, I prefer in studio.
Oh,
which is
good.
really weird. I have my own theories about that, why that is. But so I was literally coming back and forth all the time and staying in hotels. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
You have a pad here now, right?
Yes.
But I mean,
that's why I got a
he
place
just totally.
here.
Did you hear what he just did? He deflected. I asked him
No,
if he moved here for a
the
man.
answer is
and
no.
it went all the way to like around the world, back to New York.
I moved here for work, for work.
He explained that he moved here for work.
Oh, okay. But are you...
People on the
like,
West Coast like the in-person
Well,
interview.
no, like if you're in New York and someone's like, do you want to do, you're going to do it in person, now you have to pack everything. You have to find it all happens, but then you have to unpack.
Right.
Now, if I'm in New York and you're like, David, it's Elizabeth, I want to come back on the podcast, I literally will just take this cup of coffee and walk onto a plane less than 24 hours because I have a home here. And it's like, you just turn the key and there everything is. It's changed my life.
No, it was great when I had to change the dates, and I completely forgot it was St. Patty's Day. So thank you for dressing appropriately, even though you didn't plan on it.
This is so not planned, yes.
I can't believe you didn't plan on it.
I'm like, wait a second.
No, I had wait, where's my Tiffany bag? Oh, I had
right there.
Oh, it's over there. I had my green bag. Oh, wait, hold on. We're gonna.
I'll
grab it. Oh, well, Luke's got it. Wait, this is my my green that I'm wearing today. Hi.
I like this
This was just
bag.
for you. It was like
I
a greenish, bluish.
I don't hate that.
How's that look on camera?
It
We
looks
normally have a
gorgeous.
monitor on so we could see ourselves, but not
I
today.
like that bag.
I just want to let you guys know that this matches my birthstone. My birthday's
It's-
Friday, so I'm.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so
And how old are you going to be since that?
28.
I'm 28 all over again. I'm 49, man. I'm almost 50. Like, I'm almost
to do-
housewife status.
You're almost housewife status. Yes.
Cougar status,
No,
right?
I'm Krieger. I'm creeping up on Cougar. And so you're June, though. Your birthday's June, right?
Yeah.
June what?
June 9th.
Oh, thank God it's not June 14th. I was going to say.
That your exes?
Yeah. I was like, no. But so how do you like living in LA? I mean, LA is a completely different environment than Newport Beach.
You know what it is? So it's funny. I have a friend from New York that winters in LA. He rents the same house every year. He's not like full time. But like we said this like last night. Because I still have an apartment in New York at a house in the Hamptons, and I go back and forth.
Podcasting must be good.
No,
Andrew,
having
what did
a
you learn
company,
today?
having a company that you sell is good.
Oh,
but
okay.
like going back and forth. Like I think like I love LA, but I think if I lived in LA with
Full-time.
no other place to call home, I think I would lose it. But there's a lot to love about LA, and then there's a lot. There's a lot to hate.
He went to the high spectrum.
I love it, but I would lose it if I had to stay here all the time.
Sometimes you talk to people and you're like, the lights are not on.
Do people talk to you up there? Like, we don't go past LAX. It's
People talk to me in LA. Like, you know what I love about LA is everybody is hustling in the business. So whether you're a cameraman, a producer, a podcaster,
we love industry people, obviously.
yeah, there's a buzz about it and everyone's making it happen.
Yeah.
For themselves, and some are more successful than others, but there's like a buzz.
Okay.
So it's like when you're a workaholic like myself, and you're around like other people in the industry, it's nice.
Gives you that motivation and that cool vibe.
Yeah.
Because Newport Beach, there's nobody in the industry. Like, I had to import them from Seattle. We got Mike from
And LA.
Seattle, Luke from LA. We don't have industry people here. We have just rich people.
And there's nothing wrong with that. And you would never live in LA somewhere.
I tried to buy a place in Beverly Hills before
And?
COVID. COVID hit.
It was right during COVID.
Right during COVID. And then,
And
well, they shut down the street and they told me I had to wear a mask in the elevator, and I pulled the
you
deal.
said I'm out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It was.
It was bad. They wouldn't let us tour, and
They said you can't have anybody come visit you at your own
they
house.
said you can't have people at your house, and I was like, I was going to get a condo so I could
I was
party
gonna
up
say,
there.
was it like a condo?
Yeah, but
Century City, that building, the same one Heather Dubrow?
no, it was by the Peninsula Hotel over there in that area.
Whichever one that wasn't Madonna had a couple for sale in the same building.
Yeah, whatever. It was nice, and then they
really
said that
nice,
you couldn't have people over.
Like literally couldn't have anybody over.
Well, COVID is long over, so maybe you should get yourself a place in LA.
We might. I mean, eventually when I want to get a drone to take me and I don't have to get on the freeway and then I don't have to look at people or to actually talk to people. That's
Yeah, that's better. It's really not. I mean, your driver got me here today in like an hour, and like it's not that bad. It's not
No,
bad.
it's not.
It's just worlds away.
No,
It's
but
because
our
the
offices
traffic.
are Culver
Everyone's
City.
partying right now. They're not driving, so that's the reason why it wasn't bad.
My vodka office, my warehouse is in Culver City, so I'm up there a lot. And then my offices are in Malibu, so I do have to drive up that way. I'm just kidding about not going to LA, but
No, it's different.
It's different, and it's also like, the Newport Beach environment is different than the Los Angeles environment. We don't have industry down here, so for me to start a podcast in Newport Beach, everyone's like, "You are? Why don't you have a studio in LA?" Everyone lives in LA, so it does cost a lot more, and it's a lot more time consuming to have something down here. But for you to be in LA is great. So when you have that extra bedroom, I'll just set up in the studio.
You can do that when I'm gone.
Yes.
Yeah.
So is your studio set up in your house?
Well, when I Zoom, I have a mini setup, yes.
Okay.
And then I have a studio that I go to in West Hollywood.
Did you do anything fun when you were there? Any partying? Have you done? You still didn't. He still didn't answer if he's dating anybody.
Okay, well, I mean, I have like today, later, I'm meeting friends for drinks. Like
Friends?
I'm not dating anybody.
friends?
You can fix me up if you want.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You care if they're swingers, like men and women, or does it matter?
I mean, I would prefer a man.
Okay.
But if he wants to swing with women, I mean,
Okay, so you're open.
That's not my problem. Like, go.
That's the
go
past
enjoy
LA thing.
yourself. Yeah. Like, you can do whatever you want.
Whatever
on the
makes you
side.
happy.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I mean, don't you know any single gay guys down here?
Oh, we got a lot of them. That's why I'm
Okay.
wondering.
Well,
You walked in the door. I'm like, oh, he's handsome. Okay.
let's
I got some
start.
men.
Yeah.
We'll say 31, right? 31 years old.
Yeah, I feel, and I date younger and older, so I have a pretty, like, there's a huge age range that I date.
Yeah.
So
Well, now
don't
you're
let-
successful. You're kind of the sugar daddy. So
Yeah, that happens at many times.
in LA, you probably get a lot of sugar daddy, like little sugar babies that want to like make you the sugar daddy, right?
Yeah, and well, you know where you get a lot of that really is in the Hamptons.
Oh, really?
Lots of, well, when you, and I do sound like such a douche, don't I? Like,
No,
I sound like such
You're
an
in Newport
asshole.
Beach. It doesn't.
You're in Orange County. You know
Somewhere
what? You
else
sound,
you might, but in Orange
fit
County
right
you
in.
don't.
You know what it is like when you're from New York City and you're like, oh, like I have a house in the Hamptons. Then yeah, like everyone's like, really?
They're like, oh,
Like, and I'm like, you don't like me. You just want your weekend place to go. Which I mean, I'm okay with that. Like, what do I care?
I didn't even know where the Hamptons was on a map until like a month ago.
we're from Missouri, the Midwest, so
I mean, I guess
we know
it's
where
like-
cows are.
And we're West Coast. East Coast is a long ways away.
Yeah.
Like you don't need like Malibu's similar, and like you don't need it because you're here in Newport Beach. Like this is kind of your Hamptons.
Is
year
it?
round.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I guess you're right.
it
Or
is.
Malibu, I would say maybe is the closest thing.
Yeah.
Malibu's a little too
You guys should go to the
narrow and right down the
Hamptons.
beach.
So, anyways, you're not dating, but you could be
No.
dating. And okay, have you ever been married?
No,
No, you're not. No kids.
thank God no.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say you did. You spread your seed of glory.
No, kids are just more power to all the
They're a
parents
lot of
out
work.
there.
Wait, you don't want kids?
There's nothing that I want less for myself. Honestly, it's not for me. I know myself.
You
It's
know,
not
I was
for me.
none and done. Then I had my daughter. It's the best
Totally
thing I've ever done.
Dixon.
That's what people say.
I mean, literally, I was the most selfish person I've ever known. But if you don't, you don't know what you're missing. So don't go for it.
Don't go for it. I mean, it's just
It's a trick.
It's a trick. It's really truly
Have you ever had
It
any
is
girl?
not a trick. It's amazing. But if you never go there, you don't know what you're missing.
you
So
know
who
what you're
cares?
missing.
Have you ever had any woman want your sperm to have a baby? You know, because you live in the Hamptons.
Yeah.
I mean, like, can I borrow some
Yeah,
sperm?
no, I mean, people have. I mean, I have single girlfriends
That
in
want a
New
baby.
York. Yeah, like I'm all like, there's single like Lala and Vanderpump Rules just announced she has like a sperm donor. I have friends that are like, this and that.
Yeah.
And when I meet someone, but they really want a kid, and I'm like, well, first of all, I'm just doing the math. Like based on your age, you should I mean, and they are like freezing their eggs, but I'm like, just have it alone.
Yeah.
I mean, easy for me to say, right?
Yeah.
Do your parents want you to have kids or no?
My sister has 2 children. No, I mean,
So you're
they
good.
are
So
so
there's
you
the
have
next
siblings.
generation's
a boy
gone.
and a girl.
Okay.
No, they know. It's just I would be a horrible. I mean, everyone says no, you'd be a great father. I'd be horrible.
Okay.
I would be.
Okay.
Truly, I can't even have a dog. Like it's just.
Do you have
But
plants?
see, you don't understand that. That's me. I never had a pet, never wanted a pet, never could take care of a pet. I'm too selfish. But my daughter is. It's different. It's weird. I don't say go for it.
That's what people say.
I don't say go for it. What I'm saying is you would never have guessed if you're a good person, you'll be a good parent.
Yeah, that's what they
But
say.
if you're not going to go there, don't. I mean, it's the freedom. I love my daughter to death, but she's 13, and in 5 years, I'm like, ooh, I can go somewhere for more than a week because I have a week on week.
We have freedom. David and I have no children. We have
Yeah,
freedom.
like, do you want children?
No. I mean, I went through a phase where my brothers all have kids. I'm one of 5, so it was like I wanted all these babies, and then I was like, I couldn't find a penis I could see myself with for the rest of my life. Like literally couldn't find. I'm like, I look at a man and go, okay, you make a terrible ex-husband, or oh, you make a terrible baby daddy. Ex, like I always looked at them that way, and I never found not even my ex-husband I wanted. Really?
Like you look at like
And-
Kim and Kanye, just for an example. Now,
Yeah.
okay, there's billions of dollars. So this is not a very good example, but you look at like how Kim Kardashian is so controlling with her life. Like it is all perfect. Like it's well crafted.
Yeah.
And then you are tied to this crazy psycho for
Yes.
the rest of your life. Like,
with
and
this
there's
little
truly
thing.
It's like a poor
nothing
best friend.
you can do. Yeah, and it's like your children's father, so you have to support this.
Yeah.
And like that's
Yeah.
gotta be like a big mistake that you make. So if you had these children with someone else, you could have been like, well, first of all, here's like $10 million. Get the fuck out of here. Like, don't ever contact these kids again or whatever.
And then when you try that, they come back anyway. Those celebrities that pay off those mommies,
It doesn't
those
work,
anchor
right?
babies, moms that have the babies, and they're like, here's $10 million hush money. Later, it all comes out. It's never a secret. It always
People
comes
are bad
out.
with money, so you get 10 million, you're like, maybe there's more.
Yeah.
Yeah, all those money grabbing.
And that's the other thing. I mean, like to sound as selfish as a single person, like, children are fucking expensive. So I'm good just buying my own things that I need here.
Yeah.
I'm a
If you
horrible
never do
person.
it, don't. But if it ever accidentally happened, it would not be a
yeah,
mistake.
like your watch is like a baby or two, right?
My watch is a baby or 2, yes. So are your
I see-
earrings and your rings.
Yes, I see
You
that
have
over
good
there.
taste. You have good taste.
That's why you don't see any
should've
jewelry.
worn mine with you.
That's why you don't see any jewelry over here, because I have a child.
Andrew's got a daughter.
I'm a
He's like,
watch and a bag person. That's not shoes. Like I'm a watch and a bag person. Everyone has their thing.
Same. I saw your Louis Vuitton when you came in.
And that's like
Oh.
I have a real. So if I had a child, I couldn't do these things.
See, Andrew?
No, your child would have the same thing. You'd figure it out.
I would. Well, that would be.
Be another accessory.
Yeah, it'd just be like. So I'm like, it's really not for me.
Yeah.
Like, and I know that. Like
Yeah.
you don't like. I truly don't miss having children.
No, me
when
either.
I am on my deathbed dying alone. yes.
In your
Maybe.
Ferrari, when you
Right,
make
like,
your
you can't-
casket out of your
You
car.
can't live like 80 years of being miserable
Yeah.
just so that one
Yeah.
of your children is there on your deathbed. That's not.
So what
the
did we
See, but-
learn today, Andrew? We go get a lawyer's degree, get
CPA.
bored as a CPA, start a recruiting company, sell it, live off some retirement, get into some gossip, start some shit, move to LA, and
Bam. That's
bam,
it.
and,
just
don't,
start
and just don't have children.
single, ready to
And
mingle.
don't have children.
Don't have
Single, ready
children.
to
Buy
mingle.
nice watches.
Daily Logic Check.
I can't thank you enough for being on today, David, because I don't understand this industry that well, and I know you do. And I know that my audience, a lot of them are podcasters and bloggers, and I really believe in your industry. And when I was a housewife, I took the interviews, even if they had 1,000, 2,000 followers, because, well, they have the aspirations I have. And is there any advice you'd give to any up-and-coming, either people that want to get into entertainment or podcasting or business in general?
I think like business in general, my advice is like, if there's one way that you think you should do it, but you really feel you're doing it a different way, do it the different way. That's my advice. Like, believe in yourself and kind of, if everyone says, well, this is how you do it, but you feel this is how you do it, you do it your way. There's no real right way
Conviction
to do it.
and passion.
And and that's the other thing, like, what was it, 2 years ago, not to tie it back to my pop culture podcast, but when Kim Kardashian, said something like, women today and get up and work. Do you remember that? Like, she got like a lot of flack for it.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm on Kim's side on this. Like, get the fuck up and work. Like, I'm not like wonderful and fabulous and I just turned on a mic and like, oh, look at me. No, like, you have to work. Like, I made this podcast happen. Yes, I'm good at it. I know what I'm doing and but you have to work. So I think sometimes people, when something is successful, whatever business it is, it's like you think like you got lucky. Like, I wish so.
You got lucky because your eyes were open when those doors were opening.
Yes.
And Behind the Velvet Rope didn't just happen overnight. You saw opportunities, you seized the moment, you knew the strategy you had to do, you did your homework, right?
Yes.
You listened to what people told you. Because I'm sure you had, like, where I'm listening to you to learn, you had to be listening to somebody else, right?
Yeah.
To learn.
I did.
And I mean, what would you say if somebody wanted to get into the business side of it? I mean, because it's kind of a bummer. Like, I have one Patreon and I'm like bummed, but give me some advice, like, just stick with it or what? Like, I don't know. I'm kind of bummed right now a little bit. So.
Well, first of all, how long you've been doing it for, like, 2 seconds?
A week or 2 weeks. Or
okay, well, 2 weeks. I was going to say, aren't I like your fifth guest or something? Yeah. I mean, first of all, I didn't even have a Patreon for the first, I think, 7 months. And even that was not, I didn't have a YouTube. I focused on one aspect, just Apple, Spotify, everywhere podcasts are found. Okay. I'm like, I need the downloads on Behind the Velvet Rope to be at a certain number and consistent. And then I'm like, okay, when this bucket was really, we want to grow it, but operating where it should be. And it's almost like I have nothing more to give to this bucket of like the out. Okay. So now let's add like some frosting over here with a Patreon. Now that's working. So let's add some sprinkles with a YouTube. And it's like, I really like just
organically grew it based on the audience.
Is there any money in X? Because I know that didn't they do long form? Haven't they just started doing long form?
I feel like there's no money in X, and I feel like there's no money hardly in Instagram either. And in YouTube, there's money, but you have to be like, have millions and like, that's a whole animal in and of itself. I don't even want, it's just why I'm like.
How many followers on YouTube do you need to start generating?
Not YouTube, sorry. On the
TikTok?
one that, yes, on TikTok, sorry. YouTube, there's money. TikTok, I was like, I went down that road like you, and I was like, I'm stopping this because like I'm never
too much work.
No matter what I do, there's never going to be 2 million. There's actual people that just do YouTube, that do TikTok, and that's not going to be me. So I'm like, I don't want to be on here if I'm not going to make money. YouTube, you can make some money on. Yeah. Although the algorithms and it's like, but you can make some money. So
basically, but sponsorships are a good way to make money. So if I had so many downloads and people, I could go to somebody can come. Well, I'm a good person to like. I would say, okay, David, I'd like you to take this vodka. Here's some, you tell me what the budget would be. You tell me, okay, look, this is how many spots you're going to get. Just like traditional advertising, right?
That's how it works.
You're basically doing traditional advertising.
That's how it works. So like when you have advertising on even the audio, like people are listening on, no one's seeing it, but I'm like, you're talking and then you do an ad. You're like, so Elizabeth, what did you think of, when Kelly Dodd was sending you nasty texts? And then I go right into like,
let me show you.
Right. And then I'll be like, I mean, you didn't even write me the script, but I'm just thinking of what script, you'd be like, oh my gosh, you guys know I love to drink vodka, right? And everyone thinks I'm out there drinking this type and that type. Well, let me tell you, what you don't know is my favorite type of vodka is Vargas vodka.
Yeah.
You know why I love Vargas vodka?
You blend it into the conversation.
You know why I love Vargas vodka? Not just because it's by Elizabeth Vargas. Hello, RHOC. Now everyone's really paying attention.
Vargas vodka.
Because it tastes great and do.
Can you say that again? Can you say that like 3
but don't
times?
take my word
Check
for
one.
it. Don't take my word for it. Go to www.vargasvaca.com. Right
Oh my
now,
God.
my listeners get 20% off. Like,
Wow. Okay, David, you're hired.
I just gave
It's
you
like
this
he knows what he's doing.
So you're saying that so there is money in it. It takes how many years do you think? Maybe do you stick with it for like a good 2 years till you see anything? So if you're getting into the industry, just your advice is what? Stick with it. Just stick with it.
I think if it's what you want to do, just stick with it.
Okay.
Just stick with it.
So forget being a doctor or a lawyer. Just get into
First of
Bravo.
all, forget being, yes, honestly, you don't even make, I mean, listen, if you want I feel being an entrepreneur is the way to go
Okay.
if you want to just bust out and make some cash. I don't even know if you make that much money as a doctor or lawyer until you're like at the top. I mean, doctor.
Well, after you fight the lawsuits
Right.
being a doctor, I think
Yeah.
you're probably making the same
You survive.
thing. Yeah.
And being a lawyer, yes, look at all these like brilliant lawyers, but lots of lawyers graduate law school every year and they're like, where's my job? And they're like, there is no job. Like you didn't go to this school or that school. Those are hard professions.
Well, you seem like David, you've come from
Humble beginnings.
humble beginnings. Well, you know, your parents did guide you, but I think you've also made a great name for yourself and a great life for yourself. You've chosen to get into what you love, which is entertainment. You first started entertaining yourself, and then you went to entertaining others,
This is true.
and then you created a business out of your passion.
This is true.
That is very important. And you, right now, you sitting on my couch, you seem very content. I've never sat with you, but you're your vibe, your demeanor, you're very humble. You're an amazing individual. So what you're doing is doing something right because you're yourself. You feel whole when you're sitting here right now. So there
Yeah.
is some truth to what you're saying about follow your dreams, follow your passion, and do it well. Right?
I would say that is great advice.
Yeah.
A great way to sum it up.
Yeah. So thank you so much for being here and teaching Andrew and I what we need to do to make it or break it, honey.
Yeah, we're totally making it now.
I'll come back on. We'll do a check-in. But thank you guys for having me.
We'd love to have you back on. And on our Andrew and my show, we actually donate $1,000 to a charity of your choice for all my guests. So do you have a charity that you work with or you'd like us to donate to?
I do.
Oh,
I
good.
would like you. See, this is a pop culture time, but originally I got involved in this charity. Now you're really going to be like, how old are you? But it is it's True Colors United, which is Cyndi Lauper.
True Colors United?
Yes,
Okay.
truecolorsunited.org. It's Cyndi Lauper is one of the founding
Really?
people. It's really to help like the LGBTQIA youth. So like, look, there are 4.2 million homeless youth in
What?
America. 4.2 million.
Yeah.
And if you are gay, lesbian, any of the colors of the rainbow, it's 120% more likely that you will be homeless. You know, like you come out to your
Right. No,
parents, your parents
absolutely.
find out, and you just get kicked out.
Okay.
So, I mean, think about that. Like you're 14 and you're literally kicked out of your house.
Right.
Like, I mean, what do
Well,
you
because you're not
do?
accepted and you don't have that.
Right.
And so you're saying that her charity helps provide resources or?
Provides resources. They're very heavily involved in like legislation and going to Congress and like trying to just like change the system. So all of that.
And is that to help the homeless get off the streets, or is it like therapy type stuff, or what is it?
Like all of the
Just
above.
everything, all
of
the above.
Like really to get off the streets and
Okay.
like provide like where, you know,
good.
what do we
Basic
do with
needs.
these children? Like
No, I
where
love
do you
it.
go?
So what we're going to do also is we're going to put a link on each video that people
love
can
it.
go donate. They can actually educate themselves on how to go to Cyndi Lauper's charity and obviously the charity you're involved in. And we also have another surprise for you.
And what is that?
We have a little gift for you
Oh
being
my
on our
gosh.
Launch Party USA.
I came to your house. I really should have brought you a gift if you really think about it.
I have a little gift.
Oh my
Just
gosh.
move your mic out of the way.
I know. Oh, can I move it?
Yes.
We always accept gifts.
So this is a little gift from Andrew and I to you.
First of all, you have to love this bag. I can't even say a little Vargas vodka product placement.
I know.
Oh
I
my
can't help it.
gosh.
So there's a couple little things, and there's a T-shirt. Everybody gets a T-shirt.
Okay, we love. First of all, I love a good T-shirt. a
Okay,
Vargas
it's
vodka.
drink
We love
vodka, ride a
this.
cowboy.
Okay, we love that.
And there's green in it.
Did
so
you say
it's
that on the show? Was that your tagline?
No, I just, and then of course there's Travis
Hats.
Matthews hats. I stole the designer.
And
then
then
a
we
little
see a
extra
blue-
gift for you.
Listen, we love a blue box around here, so we're not gonna
You love a
argue.
Tiffany box?
I mean,
My guests get nothing but the best.
does everyone, who doesn't love a Tiffany's
I
box?
know. I
mean,
love giving my guests Tiffany. I just
ah,
love it.
there's
just a
nothing
little
wrong-
something special.
Oh my God, I love it.
A little, since you're saving your dollars with your podcast, honey.
This ties in. This is great. Thank you. Honestly, I love this.
Oh, I'm glad you like
Anything
it.
Tiffany's, but this ties in with your, brand of talking to business people on your podcast. So I love
Well,
it.
I love the Tiffany money clip because it's subtle, but it's just elegant.
Yeah, I like this.
And useful. Unlike a ring.
And useful, right? And who doesn't want a money
Anyone
clip?
can give a Mont Blanc, but I like Tiffany.
I am all about giving honestly, you did not have to get me anything.
Well, cheers.
Just being here. Oh my God, cheers.
Andrew doesn't
Cheers.
drink.
I don't drink, but cheers.
But, cheers. Thanks for coming today. I
we
can't
still
wait
like
to
you
have you
anyway.
back. Thank you for educating my audience. And we will absolutely take what you said to heart and get rid of Patreon. Just kidding.
Just keep your one person happy and just, focus on the ads.
Okay,
All
we
right.
will.
Thank you. Thank you for
Thank
coming.
you so
Thank you
much for
guys so
coming on.
much.
We love it.
Bye.
Bye.
Daily Logic Check.
Thank you for tuning in to this episode of Daily Logic Check. I'm Elizabeth Vargas, your host, with my co-host, Andrew Vargas. If you like what you saw, you like what you see, click like, subscribe, follow us, and support us on Patreon. Peace, love, and happiness.